not the right line to use. All those terrible helmets on the inside. I don't know where those came from. They wreck Formula Fords and all sorts of cars, and he gives it a... So Koos is just hanging on there thinking, gee I want to catch Corin, but I've got to watch for this BMW behind me. He flies over the curves here. They've now straightened those curves out for the motorbikes, actually, for the superbikes that are coming to KYALAMI next year.
I'm sure the pistons are going to come through the bonnet any minute.
Yeah, just watch for the big ding in the bonnet as they come. Right across that cement, somebody had a big blow up there. Right, here comes Koos. He's going to be very happy with his second position, first time back in racing, but here comes Mark O'Sullivan really saying, listen to him. Down again, he floors it all the way up there. This does climb. They've got to have quite a lot of torque up here. Keep to the right and then you go in the middle of the road. And who's leading this battle? It's V6s and V8s. The V8's got the better of him. Yeah, he just got him in there. More steam with that V8. Right, Alan Poulter's going to make a plan now for sure. He's going to try and take him the inside as they come over. They're having a wonderful time, these two, I must say.
They really are. But the Morgan's got a little bit more leg on the straight, I think, but Alan's a bit braver in the corners.
What we need now is a wee bit of rain, and you'll see some of the smaller, slow cars come into that. It neutralizes all motor racing. Right, it looks like the Morgan, he's learnt where it is. That's a little fly screen in front. There was a very British innovation. Keep it flies off your goggles. Maybe streamline you a wee bit. This is a more comfortable way to go racing in a saloon car.
That's Gary Blake in his GT6, followed by Colin Ellison, who only started this race about 3 laps ago after some clutch problems, we believe.
I think he's just testing it out for the 3 other that followed. The Blake car actually is leading its class. Nice looking car. Those Triumphs are lovely. TR2s and all sorts of things. They made lovely cars. Lovely looking motor cars, the Triumph. Well, we're getting towards the end of this race. Colin Ellison's trying to take on the Triumph as he goes through this. Alpha's just in every form of motor racing South you ever seen. Past the Triumph on the way. This is the fastest part of the circuit, by the way.
And of course, that's the first time out for the GT6. It's going very well. And
very nice.
Here's another Alpha chasing the Marcos.
Well, I don't think he's found the answer how to get past. There's a funny little boot it's got on that car, David, almost like it's a cooling boot. A scoop in the back, but it's a lovely looking car, that, isn't it? Eh?
Yeah, it's a very special English sports car, now owned by Russians.
Really? Gee, well, so it's going all over the world. Same thing happening with the motorcycles, owned by the most unlikely countries. Right, here they come, and if he's going to do it, Vic Peachy hasn't got too many laps if he wants to do it. That Marcus is going as quickly as any modern car goes around that corner. And Vic Peachy, with the distinctive yellow bumper on his motor car, hasn't found a way past the Marcus. Right, here's the leader coming to the flag. He's 12 seconds in front. There's Anthony Corin, the Cape Townian. There's a second one. Koos hanging on to second, doesn't use all the road. Just wants to preserve that motor car. He's going to share with Peter Gock in the 3-hour. Here's Mike O'Sullivan. He's about 2 seconds behind him. So that looks like it's going to be the final order. The overall win is going to go to Anthony Corin, and Mike is still giving a work over. Here he is. He wins it by 12 seconds. Let's look for the other one, the familiar orange colours, the Gunston colours, and the Piranha, the Basil Green Piranhas. It's a work of art by Basil Green. Here he comes, Koos van der Poel, and only 2 seconds behind is Mike O'Sullivan. They're all having a wonderful time as they get the flag there from Henny de Beer. So Class A, as we said, Anthony Corin ahead of Swanepoel. Terry Allen wins Class D. F goes to Gary Blake, and Kevin Taylor takes Class G in his blue Capri. So nice to have back in historic racing. It's Mike O'Sullivan. Mikey went well there behind those 2 Piranhas.
God, that was brilliant. I absolutely enjoyed that. We had a major problem on Wednesday. We blew the race motor and we found a stock engine in the yard, and we put it in, and man, having
that's the one to use.
Oh, that's for sure.
We haven't seen you for about a year, right?
Yeah, we last ran in the 9-hour last year. And I tried to do a number of sprint races this year, never got it together, and we're back and having a ball.
Are we going to see more of you regularly now?
You can count on that.
Great anticipation, as you would expect. It is the FA Cup. Ardiles looking for the ball, which comes long from Clements. Well taken down by Hughes. Henri, that's a splendid turn. Picked up by Keegan. Adams going in. It's broken for ball. Beckham. And now Beardsley. Cantona, brilliant back heel. Here's Drogba. George Best with the cross. Gerrard! That's unforgettable. That's the magic of the FA Cup.
It's full throttle on Supersport from the beginning of January. The Dakar Rally finds a new home in Argentina and Chile. Follow it from the 3rd. The 2 leading ODI teams in the world square up in a 5-match series down under and find out who will come out tops in the first Grand Slam of 2009. This January, Dakar Rally, Australia versus South Africa, Australian Open, MTN Domestic Championship, FA Cup and the English Premier League. In February, the Welsh Dragons will be breathing fire in their bid to retain the Six Nations title. The fearsome Vodacom Super 14 kicks off on the 13th and the world's top golfers are on the hunt for birdies and eagles on the US PGA Tour. In February, Six Nations, Vodacom Super 14 and US PGA Tour. In March, the World Superbike Championship gets underway in Australia and Qatar. The Proteas return home to face Australia in a test series and the title-chasing Formula One begins in Australia. In March, World Superbike Championship, South Africa versus Australia and Formula One, getting the year off to a winning start. Action attractions.
So last year this time I took my chick out for a fancy meal, got us a bottle of not so vintage red and paid a polite tip, which cost me about 350 rand. Then she wanted to go see a movie, which meant popcorn plus the parking, about another 150 bucks. But this year I'm staying home and getting a month's worth of world-class sports viewing for the price of one night out. Got it on your World of Champions.
Here's some of the heavy metal racing, historic racing. We've got an original Porsche and some other replicas. Chev Firenze, also a Lola T70. Oliver Delay is racing 2 cars here at the Revival meeting. One is a GT40, we've seen that one, and going well. And a brand new 917 there, Oliver.
Yeah, I'm very excited about the 917. It's got a very special, very rare engine in it.
What engine you got?
It's a 962. I think there are only 2 left in the world, and it's down-rated from 700 horsepower down to 400 now, just to get used to the car.
Oh, shame.
And it's a Le Mans engine, and it should keep up with the pace today.
Yeah, I mean, only 2 962 engines. You're not taking a bit of a risk there.
No, there were only 5 built. They were special special Porsche engines. They are very rare. Yeah.
And the 917, of course, is what gave Porsche their first victory at Le Mans.
Yes, that's right. And then they banned the big flat 12, and then they built this engine to that 3-litre when they came out with a maximum, and it was a test engine, and it's quite exciting to have a car like this, a beautiful car.
Here's the field. There's 32 of them. Are going to be racing over 10 laps, about 42 Ks of this Grand Prix circuit. They line up for the start. We'll pick out all the different makes as this way. You've got Mazda rotaries, everything in this car, and Porsches and Cobras. Fantastic field, and of course Alphas. As we go on board with John Greaves, the magenta Porsche, you can see that right-hand mudguard, and coming past him is Nick Parrott, his very powerful Porsche. As we go into the first corner, it's all action. And we've got Uli Sani's in second position in that Batmobile BMW. Wonderful start. Here comes on the outside is the little Tiga, and that's been driven and shared by Chris Costas, also Veron Papos in the afternoon's racing. There's Wayne Wetton. He's got a rotary-engined Capella, and on his tail the Chev Firenze, and that's Vasco Bobolini. Nice to see. There's not too many of those around today.
No, but that Mazda Capella must be the noisiest car in motor racing.
It nearly destroyed motor racing in this country. It used to have 179 decibels. Can you believe it? It used to actually break your eardrums. Unbelievable.
And interesting here is John Grieve having a go at Nick Parrott. Of course, Nick Parrott's car is an original RSR and may well have a history at Le Mans.
Oh dear, we've gone off. I don't think he was pushed off. I think he just ran out of brakes there. Or he's looking across at Parrott's car. Forgot there was a corner.
He forgot to turn.
And he's behind Evert Buerta, that yellow Porsche just ahead of him there now. Right, so the field is starting to set up their position. Rod Upstal's in that little Ford Escort. There's a car that has done so well over the years with 1600 motors and BDA motors, these little Escorts. Rear-wheel drive cars, they could mix it with the best.
And of course, everything in this race running on slick tyres, unlike the first two, so there's a lot more speed to be had from
and better
cars.
times over the grip that they're going to do today. Right, he's in behind Evert Buerta as they start off down the hill. There's Eddie Roux, his 928 Porsche ahead of him. And look at this, Escorts for Africa. The yellow one is Fonk, the white one is Fred Phillips. Then we've got Barry Scott here, is Chris Costas in the Barracuda. He's been racing that for a while.
And another Alpha, that's Ruan Tehran in a 74 Alphetta GT.
Yeah,
the very first one.
Still looks good, Dave. And on the inside, Josh Broom, a very hot Escort. Right, there's the delay car. Second position, he's past the Batmobile of Ulisani. Then we got Nick Parrott. Here comes Veron Pappas. He's in the little Tigra. Then it's Eddie Rue, and here comes John Grieve, giving a good account of himself. And that is an original Porsche colour. I think we've said it so many times. Just in case people think that was his own colour.
Well, it's not a colour I'd like to be seen.
No, but John Grieve is. But anyway, just behind him, have a look there. We've got, there's a man who did great things South African racing, and that was...
that's Bernard Talanis.
And that little car does fly. He started at the back of the grid, by the way. They've had untold problems during the day, but they're getting their act together and they've clutch problems and that. But that little Tiago Bernie's does go. It's got a rotary motor. Here he comes on the inside of Eddie Rue in the 928. That's a front engine Porsche. We've got a rear engine Porsche passing him, and Veron Papa's ahead. He's not giving in.
Eddie Rue's not giving an inch.
Right, here they come. It's a drag from Nashua Corner to the Goodyear Sweep. Here they come. Who's got it now? Eddie Rue? No, it has.
Right in the middle of them there is the Lola T70 that seems to have got mixed up in the pack.
He had to start, I think. No, he did. He got a very bad start. That is Stephen Dick. He does most of the work on the replicas for Bailey, actually. So they gave him a drive in this motor. He's a youngster having his first out in the car and doing very well. And what a car. I mean, the GT40 was basically based on that Lola, Dave.
Well, the Lola's a car that came later, but it's designed by the same guy, Eric Broadley, who designed the GT40.
He did too. And I don't think you need to get too close to that Tigre. I think it's actually Neil Lobb driving the car. Just look at his helmet. The flamethrower out the back will take the paint off your car, Dave.
Well, you don't get too close.
No, you don't. Here they come onto the thing. As you give a flame this time. There it goes. Don't get too close to Neil Lobb. They had problems in the first race with a drive shaft, and does that little Tigre, a Mazda motor. And he passes, by the look of it, Veron Papas. He is flying in that car. And here comes the Lola. Stephen, that just shows what a big racing car can do. Gee, it doesn't even lean, it flies through there.
It's absolutely fantastic. I think the most beautiful sports racing car of its time.
Absolutely. You can hardly believe your eyes. It's on KYALAMI. It's a replica now, looking wonderful. Right on with Grieve. He's not letting him get away. He's got an RSR as well. He comes up on the Veron Papas car, also nicely turned out. That was actually former Atlantic cars, actually. They're made into sports cars.
That's right. That's right.
And those rotary engines put out an amazing amount of power for the size. Right, so John Grieve has lasted these few laps, and he's in amongst the heavy artillery, that's for sure. Here comes Nick Parrott, and here comes Neil Lobb. He races in anything. He raced in Little China Buckies as well, and did well. Neil is really a great all-rounder.
And, of course, he's been the Shelby Can-Am champion a number of times.
And his son raced. Oh, look at this lot. We got Porsches and Barracudas and the little Datsun there with the two red lines. John McLaughlin. Inside there goes Jason Finney in the Renault. That's a later-looking Renault than they normally drive.
That's R10. That's Dennis McBeath's old car.
Yeah, and looking very good too. And here comes Chris Costas in that Barracuda. He's got Fred Koenig. Is that Fred Koenig? And there's Anthony Adams in the other Porsche. Can't pick up the numbers in those silver bonnets. Here's McLaughlin. Those little cars almost won the 9-hour. They won their classes many times. That's John McLaughlin's one. And here's Barbolini in the Chev Forenza. And on his tail he's got Stevan Pushkavez in that Porsche, in that multicolored Porsche. And he gets better all the time, Dave.
Benetton colours, he loves it. Everybody hates the colours except him. But he was champion in the car last year.
Yeah, and he's effective, no doubt about it. The El Forenza boy, got very big wheels. There's Wayne Wetton now. He's just ahead of him now. That's what the old Capellas used to do. We had Dave Charlton driving them, Willie Hepburn, they all drove those cars. Errol Shearsby, his names from the past. And those Capellas always went well. And here's the Gunson-coloured one of Wayne Wetton holding off Forenzas. Here we come.
That's Martin Abbott.
Yeah, that's Abbott, and there's Koenig in there as well. And look in between two Porsche. You can't believe it. Little John McLaughlin, well, the little Datsun of John McLaughlin giving a good account of itself. And it won the 9-hour in 1978. It was with Phil Adams, Brian Cook, who still heads up, or he headed up the West Bank V8 Association for something like 25 years, give a year or two. And he's coming back with a Chevron B8 shortly. Right, Stephen Dick comes through in that Lola. As you say, one of the best looking ever. And he is got Uli Sani. Uli's slowing down. He's been passed by one or two cars, actually. Great account of himself, and there's a real enthusiast. Nick Parrott, because that Batmobile is a legendary car, and he's got Nick Parrott behind him. Here he comes down there with those big fat tackies, wider at the back than in the front. And John Grieve is closing in, as well as is Veron Papas. This camera doesn't give you an idea. This is the fastest part of the circuit. They really do fly down that part of the circuit, as I say, into those S's. Right, Babolini, and then we've got Josh Brumer's going well in that Escort.
It's also first time out, and a replica of the Zaxpeed car that ran in the 9-hour.
And he's got Zaxpeed on the back there. There's Rod Upsdale. They're closing up on him too. These little Escorts are giving a great account of themselves. Pushkavez, look at that one. Zaxpeed, and I remember they came out and with Jochen Maas, they gave a good account. They won the 9 hours as well. Oh, he's gone off again. This time it's into the wall. Oh, dear. Here's trouble. That is car suffers a lot of damage. It's been punted there by Michele Rapini in Cape Town in the door. Here's gone into the wall. No, he's not going to race that any further this afternoon. John has been our camera car. Thank you for that, but we're not going to get a lot more. I think just leave it where it is before you tear it apart. Okay, so that's John Grieve. He did a very good account of himself in that race. He's well up in the races there. He was lying 4th or 5th actually in that one of his best drives. He said, must have just run out of brakes that day.
Yeah, it looks like he doesn't want to talk to anybody either.
No, I wouldn't want to either, actually. Etienne Wannenberg comes through in the white bonneted Escort.
Then Dan van Schalkwyk in the Alpha, Rodney Absdal in the Escort, and Elani Fonk in the Mark II Escort. And there's the leader, Frans Pretorius.
And is that a wonderful looking motor car? Final laps of the race, he's got to thread his way through the traffic. Not a lot of accommodation, those cars. It's all aerodynamics and motor and everything. And of course this traffic must slow him up, David. I mean, he's just been through traffic throughout. There's Oliver DeLay. We haven't seen too much of him. And Bernie Talanis is starting, and that's Neil Lobb is starting to close. He's actually come right from the back of the field, and he is on a mission.
You can see now, though, that car is smoking a bit, and I think they look as though they've got more trouble like they had in the first race, where the grease and oil was going on to the exhaust from the drive shaft.
From the CV joints and type of thing. But no danger, there's no oil getting to sea. Anyway, on he goes. There's the Maz engine at work. You can hear it in the centre of Johannesburg. Those cars were so noisy. They put silencers on. They used to melt the silencers. They've got a big silencer. He's got a big silencer on the back and a flamethrower attached to it. So if he gets in front of Oliver DeLay, there's Absdal now. And there's Wayne Wetton and Josh Broom going well, Barbolini, and there's Pushkevez. Well, they're all going. They're having a wonderful time here, Dave. 10 laps of action wherever you are.
Well, it's a much bigger field, of course, and there really is some action. And Wayne Wetton now just cutting through the middle of Broom and Absdal. Now they've got to sit and listen to the noise.
Yeah, and it used to get them. They put earplugs in the noise of that Mazda engine, but boy was it efficient. And we had 2 rotors, 3 rotors. I think Ben Morgan had a 4-rotor motor, the one that won Le Mans. I think that motor raced out here in South Africa in his Westbank production car. Josh Broom on the inside of Wayne Wetton. So get away from the noise for a bit. And here comes Pushkevez, Stephen Pushkevez. He's got the better line through. They just start footing it through on the inside. Does the Chevy do it? He's got him.
Well, hopefully he'll be able to pull away now, and the sheer power of that Chev down the hill,
Yeah, he's done it.
He's done it. He's staying ahead.
But still they've got an Escort ahead of him.
And the Barracuda coming into view in the background with Chris Costas.
75 is Rodney Abdul, lying 11th overall, can you believe it, amongst Porsche and Chevrolet. This has never happened before. But also there's a certain amount of protection in these cars too, Dave. You can't just keep revving them like you used to.
No, that's doing a Lewis.
Just taking a sword. But they don't rev them quite as high. Oh, we see Josh Broom heading for the pits.
And that, I think he had problems with the oil pump had broken.
Oh dear, and he had put up a very good performance. There's 2 cars actually going in the pits at the moment. As down the road to start another lap they go. Here's Fonk coming down the road.
And that's Martin Abbott's Porsche behind him.
Yeah, and those Porsche are giving a good account of themselves. These guys are driving well. We haven't had too many cars out of this race, actually.
No, low rate of attrition, but I must say that the Escorts are really, and the little Datsuns are giving the 911s a full go.
And what I love about this big 956, and that really is a wonderful Porsche. It's well driven there by Frans Pretorius. And he's going to shed in the 9 with his son, Ruin Pretorius, is equally as quick. They really show what this Porsche can do. And they used to have rocket trouble before, and it's gone through this race without a peep. I mean, it doesn't miss a beat. And he's passed 4 or 5 cars in one day.
Well, I'm sure he's really slowing himself down by getting tangled up in the traffic.
Right, Anthony Abbott comes through just behind him. Here's Delay. And there you can see Neil Lobb's got him.
Yeah, and there's Elani Fonk in the Mark II Escort again. Driving very well, also a very novice driver.
Of course, that 917 is the type of car that won Le Mans. These are replicas.
There's the black flag for Neil Lobb from smoke.
It's a final sort of thing to give a black flag, really. You've got to go in and ask the clerk, of course, what's wrong. Anyway, he's out of it. And he was lying in second, third position there and closing, actually. So he's out of it. I don't see any oil coming out of that car. What do you reckon, Dave?
There's a lot of smoke.
Yeah, and I think it's probably grease off those CV joints. Anyway. And on the race cars, not many laps left in Wayne Wetton. We've got 3.5 laps to go, not too far, about 14 Ks. And that Chef Lorenzo's still chiming along. He doesn't rev it too hard though, but it's lovely to see a car like this out on the circuit. Blue flag said to someone coming up to pass you, and have a look, it's the leader. When you see that white Porsche in your mirrors, just move over. And I should imagine in that Porsche, he sees very little behind him. Eh?
Very little. And, you know, the amazing thing is, if you turn to anybody overseas, oh yes, we have a few bits of club racing in South Africa, and we have a Porsche 956 just for fun.
Now here he might be racing that overseas. He hasn't got the original 956 motor. Those are very rare. So he's keeping that as a bit of a treasure. It's running,
I think, a two-turbo motor, but not the 956 engine.
And it's effective enough, and it's been well driven by Franz. You crushed into that motor car there. I mean, it's like claustrophobic almost. You are squeezed into the motor car. Look, he just takes one car after the other. Right, so the Chris Costas car is doing very well in this race. The Barracuda is made by Chris, actually. Very much of our Stephen Dix out in the lower lap.
Oh, my, that's terminal, I think.
Yeah. Nick Parrott is still having it out with Uli Sani. Now, a Porsche, no ways, should be behind a BMW saloon car, would you say?
Well, they're both big engine cars of a similar period and built to race each other at the time. But Parrott's now zoomed past Uli Sani. Is there some problems? Yes.
Oh, yeah. Now, there's one enthusiast. He's the financial director of BMW, and boy, does he love his BMs. He raced different BMs and all sorts of type of historic racing here in South Africa. Here's Delay now in second position, back in second position, looking nice in original Martini colours, and those colours won races all over the world as he goes inside. Looks like Abbott, is he coming down? Is that Fred Koerner, because they went down the hill there?
Well, that's Renelle Gerber's Porsche. Being overtaken by Nick Parrott in the RSR. Renelle, one of the fastest girls in motorsport.
Oh, she goes well in that Porsche too, as up the road comes Veron Papas. Franz Pretorius got about 2 laps to go. This one and another one, it'll all be over for him. Here he comes through now, and he just gets past every car. The thing has got so much power, just idles past him, eh?
Well, one of the most advanced cars of its time with ground effect. Beautiful. Fred Koenig in front of McLaughlin now, and the next man up, that's Fonk in the Escort.
Nicely turned out one too. Very clean looking Escort, easy to pick up around the circuit as well. So it's Koenig and McLaughlin. Then it's Fonk coming just behind him, and then we've got Abbott just coming behind him in his Porsche. Lovely to see these guys out racing their Porsches, in fact. I mean, they're expensive cars. And of course, next year we're going to see Porsches and Ferraris, masses of them racing in the Pro Tour Series. And McLaughlin, look at, he's getting the tail out there, Dave. Jeez.
But surely a Datsun 1200 shouldn't be chasing a 911.
You sure it's only 1200? And getting it sideways, having a ball there. Right, here's Chris Costas now. He hasn't got shot of Wayne Wetton, and we've got Pushkavez. He's had a very good drive. Has Chris in that car. He's lying actually at the moment 8th overall. Isn't that... that's the Wayne Wetton car making all that noise. There's 2 of them with, of course, with Bernie Lawrence, another one, or Neil Lobb. Right, here they come towards us, and coming up the road just behind them, we're with them shortly, is the Franz Pretorius 956. In fact, 956s were banned in America, and then they brought out the 962, which was a longer motor car, and got the driver. He had to have his feet behind the line of the front wheels.
And of course a single turbo.
And a single turbo. So the Americans, as soon as you beat them, they will ban you.
Change the rule.
Audi's the same. Mind you, if it's your American cars, you can do that. I suppose you can do it. Right, here he comes now, is the leader. Look, no, that's not. That's Delay coming up with him. And he's had a very good drive, Oliver Delay, in that car. First time out, we've seen him in this motor car, and he's given a good account of himself. Here he comes on the outside. Is he going to take all of them? It was 3 cars he took in one little hill.
Well, hopefully they all see him and don't drive over the top of him, because from a saloon, those cars are not even door handle.
No, you don't even. You don't. Right, here he's on his way to the flag is Franz Pretorius. Another win under the belt for him. He's very good at Swartkops. He's good here at KYALAMI. Henny de Beer's got the flag out. Here it is. The best known flagman in the country comes through, and he wins this race by 38 seconds. Well, there's not much can compete with that. Etienne Wannenberg has got a little white bonnet. Here's Eddie Roux. He's coming through. He's done well, actually. He's come through in 5th spot. He used to be the chairman. Rodney Albersville behind him. They're all getting the welcoming flag. 10 laps, 42 Ks under the belt. So the results for these post-71 cars, we've got also for sports GT and touring cars. Franz Pretorius takes Class A. B went to Nick Parrott in that very potent black Porsche of his. Baron Pappas took Class C, D went to Evert Botha, Push Chavez won Class C, Steve Pickering Class F, and Joe Shoredge won Class D. So France, nice one. That's just a bit of a forecast of what's going to happen in the 3-hour race, where you're going to have a lot of traffic to pass, eh?
The traffic was unbelievable. The speed differential is enormous. Obviously, we were racing in a class now, but when the 3-hour, when it's a free fall, I imagine concentration there will be paramount, and I hope we don't have a repeat of what happened last year. But
Near the end, actually, eh?
yeah, absolutely. When you get tired, and things can happen. But I'm delighted. We took it easy for the two sprint races to basically preserve the car for the 3-hour.
Was that taking it easy?
Yeah, well, I was looking at what our competitors were doing. We thought we wouldn't stretch it, but at one stage I thought I was doing quite well. Then I looked at my times and they were ridiculously slow, and that's the effect of traffic.
There you go.
When they break you down the mine shaft or in turn 1 and 2, when there's traffic, your lap times come down 3, 4, 5 seconds a lap.
I mean, they're talking a lot of cars on the circuit, eh?
That's amazing. I think it's a tremendous boost for historic racing. I hope that it's incident-free and that it's safe.
There you go.
Because it's a tremendous field, as you've said.
And we look forward to you and your son, Ruan, racing this very valuable Porsche 995. It's wonderful to see it here.
Roger, yeah, our plans are that, as I've said before, we'd like to send it to the UK to qualify for the Classic Le Mans if they're going to allow the car. But thanks to Apex Motors, the car's running beautifully. I think our problems, braking rockers, etc., I think that's over. We now have a reliable car for the first time.
And this coverage of the 9-hour revival meeting brought to you thanks to the support given to the series by Execuline Motor Insurance and all those associate sponsors. And next week here on Rapid Motion Africa, we're going to have the 3-hour race from KYALAMI. 55 cars started this one. And don't forget, Nedbank are sponsoring the Gauteng Motor Show here at KYALAMI in April. In Rapid Motion Africa today, we featured the 3-hour historic endurance race at KYALAMI as part of the 9-hour revival race meeting, celebrating 50 years of endurance racing in South Africa. And this coverage is made possible by the support given to motor racing by Execuline Motor Insurance and all the other enthusiastic sponsors who have joined them. Have we got some fantastic racing cars to show you in the next hour or so? Cars from the 50s, 60s, 70s and 80s, and some of the best looking and effective racing sports and saloon cars ever made. The feature race here at KYALAMI at the 9-hour revival meeting is a 3-hour race, and there's a powerful team entered there by Carl Pina in a Chev Camaro. As a combination, you two guys fit well together.
Yeah, we are actually driving the free drivers in the car for
Who's your third?
Ben Morgenroth.
Jeez, what a team.
Yeah, so what we do is, I will try to keep a car on the tar,
Check.
and and when it is for Ben, and then need to speed up,
Yeah, but I mean, it's nice to come. I mean, you've only really raced these races at the end of the year, eh, Carl? And you're flying, I got to say.
Yeah, the car is very easy to drive, Roger. So it is actually quite easy to get the car to a reasonable speed, and from there onwards it's difficult, but that's for Henny and Ben to do,
Yeah, well, there you are. I mean, you've got two good guys there. The other thing is that with all your racing and building all the cars for Westbank and all the others, that your cars are reliable. They last and they go.
We hope so, touch wood. No car can break standing still
Okay,
in the
sure.
garage, or in the
Okay.
pit straight, so we hope it will last.
Well, anyway, you've got a strong team. So, Henny, how do you feel about it? You did well last year here.
Yeah, it's an enjoyable event. It's a different way of or style of motor racing. Everyone's relaxed and everyone's enjoying their race day. And yeah, I think we got a nice car to go have a good 3 hours in it, and looking forward to it, with Carl and Ben doing the first stint. And hopefully they can do some nice long stints that I can have an easy job at the end.
He wishes. Never have I seen so many cars of all sizes, makes and models and different engine capacities gathered to set off in one race at KYALAMI. 55 cars have qualified for this 3-hour, which will be a fairly long way to race for some of the cars that are reaching 50 years old. As expected, France Pretorius in the Porsche 956 is going to lead. There he is, leading the huge field around on the rolling start lap. And the tail end is still a half a lap behind the leaders. Wonderful stuff here at KYALAMI.
And sadly, Roger, fortunately, Tony Martin not with them, suffering engine failure during the morning. He was in third position on the grid.
And very unusual for him too as well, Dave. Right.